Sibanye Stillwater has cut about 2,000 jobs from its gold operations. That is almost half the number of positions that were on the line in the latest round of talks. Further to previous restructuring concluded during 2023 and the first quarter of 2024, the group announced in April that about 4,000 employees and contractors could potentially be affected in the latest round. The mine has revealed that 111 employees had been retrenched and 1,130 contractors affected, with 629 employees taking voluntary separation packages and early retirement. Joining us to discuss the job losses in the mining sector is Peter Major, mining expert and Modern Corporate Solutions Director. Peter, good afternoon and thank you very much for your time. You know, announcements of retrenchments are always concerning in a country such as ours, which is dealing with an incredibly high unemployment rate. Your views on Sibanye's April process, which has now seen 2,000 employees lose their jobs?
Look, I think we got to give Sibanye credit. They announced this months ago, and they've managed to cut it in half what they were going to do. And they have a lot of pressure on them. They took over marginal, high-cost, big assets. Kloof and Driefontein are very old, very deep, complicated, expensive mines. And they were designed to run for 100 years, but with regular, large amounts of capital put into them. But Sibanye hasn't been able to put that capital into them for various reasons. And now that we've got a high gold price, we can't really benefit from what those assets could do. So they've kept them going longer than probably anyone else could. And they've done it with union support. They could have used a lot more government support, and I hope the government can have a roundtable discussion with these gold companies and say, this sector grew for over 100 years. Regardless of the gold price, it grew, it added men. Now it's been shrinking every year despite a high gold price. What can we do to change it? What can we do to improve that?
I actually want to speak at length about government's role, especially following the swearing in today of the minister of this particular sector, Gwede Mantashe. He's coming back. He retained his portfolio, although now at least the weight of energy has been removed from him. What would you say should be his key priorities going into the 7th administration to assist or reinvigorate the sector?
Yeah, key priorities are he should meet with all the existing mining companies, for starters, and say, what can I do as head of the DMR? What can I and my department do? And I've got the ear of the president. What can all of us do to turn this job loss around? These are strong commodity prices worldwide, and we had the most powerful mining industry in the world for almost 100 years. What can we do to turn it around? And they'll give him a lot of ideas, and he can say, great, we can do that, we can do that. He mustn't say things like, this is unacceptable right at the start. We can't even start negotiating this. When you're in a desperate situation, there's no holy cows. Everything's got to be on the table. And the mining companies will tell him, and he even knows. We've spoken to him at many Indabas. He sat through. He's had his team there. He knows what he can do. It's policy changes.
Beyond this, it seems as though the logistics issues pertaining to Transnet have also crippled this industry, significantly so.
Yeah, very much. Not so much on the gold sector, a little bit on the platinum sector, but hugely, tremendously on the coal sector and the iron ore. And all of our mining sectors have been deteriorating. They have been shrinking. So without a doubt, logistics, railroad, and electricity on the big bulk producers.
But when we talk job losses, some are of the view that it's inevitable. Later on, as the years progress, we're going to see significant numbers lose their jobs because of mechanization and automation. That you've got an industry here that if it wants to reinvigorate itself and become even more profitable, you're going to have employers that are looking to automate and use these machines to go underground. So what happens then?
No, that's not even urban legend. That's disinformation. There are not job losses out there because of automation. There's job losses out there, I really believe, with policy and with government's attitude. We had a real change in government here 30 years ago. We had a real change in the DMR and in mining policy 20 years ago. And those can be correlated to these job losses. So it's nothing to do with mechanization costing people their jobs. I've never met a capitalist who didn't want to make more money. You make more money by producing more. You need more people to produce more. No capitalist wants to retrench people if they're making money.
So what happens now? So what happens now insofar as this department? Because they've retained the minister, and we know there are a lot of backlogs insofar as permits are concerned, the policy issues as well. So what happens? Are you, as people in this particular industry, satisfied with the reappointment?
How long do you let an unperforming person do their job? How long should a boss be in charge of a company or a division if he keeps losing people, losing money, losing business? How long has Gwede been at this job? He's too busy doing other jobs. Yes, now we've taken electricity away from him. But does he have a track record of creating jobs? I think Mr. Ramaphosa should put in somebody who has a track record of creating jobs, of growing industries, of bringing in new investment. That's what you need. You need investment to build mines and to hire people. Without money, you can't hire people. Gwede Mantashe is not the right person. He's shown that for decades. And Mr. Ramaphosa has 64 million people at his fingertips. He just needs to choose some that have a track record and want to grow jobs, hire people, grow industry, make money.
Peter, we must certainly invite the Minister Gwede Mantashe, on the show to just find out what would be some of his priorities in the 7th administration. But thank you very much for your time. That's Peter Major, mining expert and Modern Corporate Solutions Director.